I am way too up close. Hold on a second. Way too close to my face. Um, let's adjust this and move you away. There we go. Okay. Nobody needs to be up my nostrils. Okay. Let's see. New Friday, same me. Can't get my act together. All right. Let's go. Why did YouTube sign me out? I have no idea. All right. Are you guys there? I can't see your comments now, so hopefully it's just a computer problem. Are you there? Why are you telling me that YouTube is having an issue? Troubleshoot. Okay. Well, come on. All right. You are here. Okay. Sharon, I see your comment. I don't know what is going on my computer, but it's telling me that I can't sign into YouTube. So hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Discuss my hair. I'm trying to sign in and it's like, no, you can't. That's weird. YouTube, what are you doing? All right. I'm here, but I'm not here. Okay. Good morning. I know. I don't. Okay. Okay, Shelly says we can see you and hear you. All right. Well, I don't know what's going on. My computer signed me out and it's not happy about it. I don't know. It's mad and it keeps asking me to troubleshoot, which I don't need to troubleshoot. I just want to sign in. So, I'm going to read your comments here, which means if they go away and I don't answer your question, it's because it moved too fast and I didn't get a chance to see it. Let me see. Hi, Daj. Um, Let me see if I can bring it up on my phone, and then I will deal with my computer later. So, let's see here. Okay, my phone seems happier. Maybe. Are we good? Hang on, because I have no answers. um, View. You know, you're killing my vibe here, YouTube. Okay, live. Shelly, I appreciate that, but I'm still really annoyed that I can't seem to pull up YouTube on any of my devices except my iPad, which is where you can see me. So you know what? I'm just gonna call it a loss. Um, it's a win because Chili's here and she's gonna help. Well, she's not here, so a couple things, and then we're gonna chit chat, and I'm gonna do my best with comments. And if I miss anything, my good friend Chili is going to help me out. So first things first, this is what I sound like. And the reason that I sound like this is because I have cruise cough. It's a thing. I have no idea why. I jokingly said to my husband that I had kennel cough, which, as you know, is a dog problem. It was a joke, but apparently I have like the human version of kennel cough. I'm not sick. I don't feel ill. There is nothing wrong with me except my voice. And if I get too excited and laugh too much, I cough a lot. So I have water here. If I have a coughing fit, I will move away from the microphone. And the microphone is right in front of me. And so, okay, I'm going to try not to laugh too much, which is hard for me to do. So, that is number one. Not an issue, but just wanted to let you know. That is why I sound like I smoke 3 packs a day. I don't. Number two, you might notice that I'm here alone again, and I will be alone for a little bit. Barb is taking some time off, so everything is good. All right, everything's great. It's just, you just get me for a little bit. And apparently, I can't handle checking comments because my computer won't let me. So, uh, I'm okay. So there's two things. And the third is, holy mother of, it is hot outside. It has been in the 90s here. It has been unbelievably humid. So for anybody that thinks New York does not get humid, you're very wrong. It's really humid, and I feel sticky right now. So if I look glowy, it's because I did the bare minimum this morning and I'm still hot. The air conditioning is working fine down here. It is not working upstairs in the apartment. And I'm sleeping over this weekend. So cross your fingers that it gets fixed by this afternoon. Otherwise, it's going to be a very miserable night of either sweating upstairs or sleeping on the floor down here. One way or another, I will get it sorted out. So that's where we're at. I have not seen you guys. Well, some of you have never seen. You haven't seen me in a few weeks because I have not been around. I've been on a cruise. The Friday before I left, I was frantically packing and trying to get ready and do a whole bunch of stuff. And then the last Friday, I was on a boat. So I wasn't able to talk to any of you. So let's talk about that. No, Cindy, we have not officially moved upstairs, but we are uh 50% of the way. Like it's ready to be lived in. I just haven't been home to move my things that I require to live. You know, underwear, food, all that kind of stuff. I did go grocery shopping this morning, which added to me being hot because again, it's hot outside. And I put groceries in my new refrigerator and it for the first time and it felt really nice. The little things in life. And I did bring clothes with me. So I will be unofficially living here for a little bit, kind of going back and forth. Eric will be settling in probably after me because he still works closer to where we're at. Am I going to talk about the retreat? I will probably talk about it. I was going to talk about Alaska first, and then I will talk about the virtual retreat, which we are doing this weekend. So, I have an order in my head. You can't see it, but if I don't follow the order, I get sidetracked, which happens quite regularly. So, if you're new here, welcome. So, first things first, what I wanted to show you was a couple new things on the website, then give you a little recap on Alaska, and then we will talk about the virtual retreat and what we're doing. So, moving this out of the way. Please don't change. I can't. It's too late now, Rochelle. So I was on the cruise, but new things came in while I was away. And also, June Cork Club went out, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, however many weeks ago, it went out early. So do you welcome your yeah. Cindy, if you're next to me and you hand me a plastic bag to reuse, I will reuse it, but not anything worth saving and mailing back. Okay. First thing, we have two new waterproof canvas colors. We did restock some, not that you knew it was even out because as they were getting low, I replenished them. You guys have been loving the rose gold. And not that I wasn't planning on keeping it, but it's definitely becoming like a staple. I'm seeing a lot of rose gold waterproof canvas going out the door. So we are keeping that one. I restocked ivory when it was getting low and a few other colors. And I figured since I was restocking, let's get a couple more new colors because why not? So we have navy. And I think it's a pretty true navy. It's not your like dark black navy like the cork. It's, still a navy blue. I think it shows up pretty accurate on screen. That's a piece of dog hair. That's free. So we have navy waterproof canvas that is on the website right now. And we also got forest, which is a nice green. So I had asked the Patreons and I had also asked all of you about updating colors and what colors you would want to see. Excuse me. And you had some great suggestions. These two were two highly requested ones, so I got those. A couple of colors, unfortunately, don't exist in the waterproof canvas world, but if they ever do, I will get them. Somebody had asked for a mint green, and I was like, oh, we need a mint green, but they don't have one. So hopefully OtterText gets a mint green and we can have that. But we have two darker colors because I have been noticing people using them more on the outside of bags. I use mine predominantly for linings because I use cork on the outside, but it's nice to have some options. The waterproof canvas is 600 denier. It is all on the website. Everything, all the information you need to know about the waterproof canvas is right on there. So those two new colors are on there. Everything else is still in stock as far as waterproof canvas. As far as cork is concerned, they just delivered more cork this morning. FedEx. I don't know what's in the rolls. So I know that we got a bunch of restocks. I tried to get everything updated this morning. We have more coming. If that is not what's here already, there's more on the way. So I'm trying to get everything restocked by the middle of July at the latest, except for some of the later things like the turtles and stuff that might be a little bit pushed out, but we are getting restocks around the clock. That was not intentionally meant to rhyme, but it is. So so yes, Shelly, it is. Shelly said it's not super thick. It's about like a regular canvas, but stiffer. To me, I think the waterproof canvas that we sell feels like if cotton fabric has Decoville light on it, because it does have the rubber backing. So this is not to be confused with the water resistant cotton that like Lauren at Mormino sells. This is waterproof canvas, the C's. So this one has the rubber backing. That's the back, that's the front. So, okay, Cork Club. I not trying to rush, but I have a lot of things I want to tell you guys, and I'm still not prepared for the virtual retreat. So, and I'm trying to get a few things shipped. So I apologize if I'm rushing, but it's just because I want to tell you everything and show you everything. So, June Cork Club. June Cork Club was the first one I sent out all year that was not a true coordinated set of corks. There were many factors that went in behind that, but it's okay because everything goes with other things and it just means that you can actually pull from your stash or order more cork if you need to, but you have a nice stash if you've been in cork clubs since the beginning of the year or if you're just a cork hoarder like myself. So none of these really necessarily go together, but they go with a lot of things that you already have. So the first one is the rainbow confetti. We had this many, many, many years ago, and then they discontinued it. It went away. I couldn't get my hands on it. And every time I tried, they did not have it. And now they finally have it again. And I love this one. It's a nice, chunky, textured background with the rainbow metallic. I mean, look at how fun that is. So just all the colors you can imagine. I love all the pinks and the aquas and all the pretty colors. So this was part of June Court Club. This is now on the website. Beth, I agree. This is a must-have. What doesn't go with rainbow? I challenge you to tell me something that does not go with rainbow. I I, I firmly believe that rainbow hardware, rainbow cork, rainbow everything is a neutral, just like stripe zippers. I will stand on that hill. I will die on that hill. It is totally fine. So the rainbow metallic is number one. Number two, grumpy people don't go with rainbow. You know what, Elena? You are absolutely correct. But we're not grumpy here. We're happy. So we all go with rainbow. This one is called Forest Floral. I guess technically that would be upright. This one just reminds me of like late summer, August, July, kind of like, I don't know, fields. It's got like that like kind of field of grass. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about, or am I just crazy? Don't answer that. It has these beautiful, like kind of peachy pink color and this dark green, this really nice green. Love this. Love this one. I saw this one and immediately fell in love with it. It does not match the third one, but that's okay. And Pat, thank you. Pat said she likes my nails. Um, so on the cruise, I got to meet Emma Brassfield from Studio 77, and we had just met each other. She was the other teacher, and she kind of grabbed my hand, and I was like, I don't even have jewelry on. What is she looking at? Not thinking. We had almost the same nails. We got like a matching set without knowing that. And it was pretty funny that we have our tropical Caribbean nails for an Alaskan cruise. But, you find your people, right? Okay, third, but definitely not last but not least, I'm going to find the words. I'm a little tired. We have the bees and floral. And I'm obsessed with this one. This is a custom design. This is my design. This came from my brain, but this also came from some of my Patreons and my virtual retreat attendees. Kelly and Mary Ellen and I somehow got into a conversation about bees. I've always wanted a bee cork, but I haven't found the right one. I didn't want a cartoony bee. I wanted like a realistic kind of a bee. I wanted something really pretty. It is more wine than purple, but it's not exactly wine. It's if you look, I did color coordinate it. Kelly loves it, which is the number one compliment because the bee cork that Kelly and I were looking at does not look like this. It is another floral and bees, but they are vastly different. And Kelly said, I love this one. Can you get something like this? And I was like, I'll do you one better. I'm going to design something and hopefully it wows you. And if Kelly's happy, I'm happy. So, and I know a lot of the rest of you are very happy too. If you are in the virtual retreat and you're not in Cork Club, this was in your goodie bag. If you are in the virtual retreat and you are in Cork Club, you got something different. So I'd made sure you didn't get too many bees. Can you have too many bees? I don't know. But I love this. I think I'm going to cut some of this up and make something this weekend. Again, I have nothing cut, I have nothing prepared. But I color match this one for you. And while it's not a perfect match for the purple or the wine, I think it looks really good with carnation. Even though carnation is a pinky purple and it's lighter, I think it looks really pretty with this. Also, the cocoa color. I think cocoa looks really good with this. And it does have the yellow in the bees. You could absolutely add black or yellow if you wanted to. You could even go, I'm trying to think here, olive. I matched olive with it. Olive might be the one that I pick. I don't know. I am just overwhelmed at all of my choices. So that is what's new on the website. Coming up for next Tuesday, Eric's Cork is releasing. And I don't usually do this to you guys where I tease you and show you something and then tell you you can't have it, but there is a method to my madness. And my Patreons did get it first. That is one of their privileges that they get to shop first. And Eric and I have, well, I can't even say, I'm not even really part of this. This is all Eric. Eric has 20 brand new designs. I showed them to you a few weeks ago. They are all on the website. They are all color matched. They're ready to go. The Patreons got to shop first, and then you guys will have them all on Tuesday, probably Tuesday morning. And Tuesday afternoon, we're aiming for like 2 p.m. Eastern. Eric and I are going to go live on YouTube, and excuse me, you can pick his brain and you can talk to him about what his thought process was, why he chose the designs that he did, and kind of just what was he thinking. So you can pick his brain. I am going to hopefully have something made from his cork. I want to do something with bees and something with his cork this weekend. I have 2.5 days to sew, 3 days to sew. I haven't sewn in several weeks, so I'm really excited about it. It's all going to depend on what I get cut out. So I'm going to work my hardest this afternoon to get stuff cut out. So Eric's Cork will be releasing. It's going to be great. Everybody is texting me right now. Oh, Eric just said you look pretty. Oh, thank you. I don't feel spectacularly pretty right now, but when your husband tells you you're pretty, you just say thank you. Um, he's obviously working hard today watching me on YouTube. Hi, Mark and Roger, if you're also watching. So um, that is that for new stuff on the website. I'm trying to think here. We got updates done. Eric's Cork is coming. He will have his own Cork page, just so you know. So it will not be on the regular Cork page. He has his own page. And Patreons have access to it. You will have it on Tuesday. We're going to go live on Tuesday. June Cork Club is up. July Cork Club is coming to you soon, and I really like that one too. Get your signups in if you are signing up for July. Remember, you have until the 10th, and I'm not going anywhere. I don't have anything planned for the month of July, so I don't have to ship super early or super late. The only thing happening in July is the 4th of July, and that really doesn't affect me because I'm not really doing anything. I might spend a day camping with my family. I haven't decided yet. So, okay, next up, let's talk about Alaska because it was amazing. It was everything that I had hoped it would be. And so I want to tell you about that and talk about the cruise. I will pause that conversation. Rochelle, how do you become a Patreon? You go on to, you can go to my website and there's a link at the top, or you can go to patreon.com and it's Patreon in case you haven't seen it before. And you can search so many creations in there, and that will give you the different tiers that we have. Okay, so Last year, like probably around this time last year, Kayla from So Magical had invited myself and Emma from Studio 77 to teach on the Alaskan cruise. And so we left last Monday and then we came back this past Monday. So Eric was supposed to go with me. You guys all know that. But unfortunately, due to some scheduling issues and him still having a full time job, which, he was not able to come. So he switched places with my mom. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I think it was a blessing. I don't know that Eric would have loved the cruise to the extent that my mom did. I don't, my mom's been on a cruise before. Eric and I have both not. So this was my first time on a cruise. We had some rocky waters. I don't know if it would have been the most fun because I was upstairs teaching, and that day, whoever was with me would have been kind of stuck figuring things out. The boat was a rocking. So there was a lot of walking to do. And unfortunately for my sweet husband, he does have a bad knee. And I just think it would have been so much for him. It would have been an amazing trip for us to have together. But my mom has a ridiculous amount of energy and never sits still. So I think I think the person that was meant to go on this cruise went with me. And Eric and I will have so much time after he retires to do things. Maybe we'll go on our own cruise. Who knows? Um, so my mom and I flew into Seattle. We got there Saturday night, really late Saturday night. So, recommendation number one, when you are changing time zones and losing 3 hours, or no, I'm sorry, gaining 3 hours, but in your brain, not quite there. um, don't get into your hotel room at like what would be 2 o'clock in the morning your time. It's a lot. So, it's it was great because we just kind of got in and went to sleep, but holy moly, I really hate time differences. It messed me up the entire week. Maybe it was good that we got in late because then we just kind of slept and just all of a sudden woke up on Seattle time, but it was a doozy. So we got in, we had really nothing but flights on Saturday. Sunday, my mom and I got to explore Seattle and I loved it and so did she. I've never been before. I have been to the Pacific Northwest. I've been to Portland, Oregon a few times, and a lot of Seattle kind of reminded me of that, but a lot of it was really, really different. I loved the city. I loved everything about it, except those dang hills, because those hills will kill you. I forgot, Barb had mentioned like 2 or 3 years ago, I forget when she went to Alaska, that Seattle was very hilly, but I forgot until I was there and I was like, oh my goodness, that these hills are going to kill you. My mom and I were walking down one and then realizing if we go down this hill, we're going to have to go back up it. It was a challenge. We were both a little like, whew, but it's okay. We survived. We did not rent bicycles or scooters because we both knew that that would end tragically for one of us. So we did a lot of walking. We walked like 5 or 6 miles when we were in Seattle. It was crazy. We went to Pike Place Market. As many of you who saw my stories and my my posts, we did get to go to Pike Place. Excuse me. I did get to see the original Starbucks, the first ever, the mothership. I did not get to go in it because the line was 2 hours long. For what you ask? Nothing. Just to walk in and say you went to the first Starbucks and you got coffee from there. They don't have seating. They don't serve food. It was a little ridiculous, and even my love of Starbucks could not convince me to go and like stand in that line. And there was no way my mom was going to do it either. So we walked past the very long line, took a picture of the Starbucks, and then kept walking. So it was fine. I did get a Starbucks mug in Target, of all places, but that's okay. So we got to walk around, we got to see the fish market. We did not see the fish being thrown, but we could hear it because we could hear everybody cheering and clapping. We kind of got there late. There were some really great places to eat in there. We got some snacks, we did some shopping, we bought t-shirts, we hung around, we talked to a lot of people there. Everybody was super friendly. We got to see the really awesome flower market, like the flower part. If I lived in Seattle, I would have fresh flowers in my house every week. No doubt in my mind. They're so inexpensive and so beautiful. They had peonies that were like this big. It was crazy and just beautiful. The water was really pretty, like everything was great. So We went to the Space Needle. My mom's not a big fan of heights, so we did not go up, but we took a bunch of pictures. And we saw a man doing what I believe was yoga in the middle of a patch of grass. So we experienced all of Seattle. It was wonderful. We stayed in a nice hotel where we ended up meeting two people who happened to be on the cruise, who also happened to be on the So Magical part of the cruise. What is the chance of that? I have no idea. But it was pretty crazy. It was one of those things where we just kind of sat down. We were checked out of our room and waiting for the shuttle to the ship. It's not a boat, it's a ship, but I keep calling it a boat. And we were just kind of sitting there, and this couple sat across from my mom and I, and my brain immediately said, "They're talkers, they look friendly, and they're going to be on the cruise. I bet you she's sewing." I got up to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, they were in a full conversation with my mother, so I was correct. They were chatty and they were very friendly, and we took the shuttle together, and on the ride to the ship, somehow the connection came up that that we were all on the So Magical part of the cruise, because the entire cruise was not so magical. There were obviously other people there. So, I got to experience my first cruise. Excuse me. I'm okay. Um, if you have never been on a cruise before, here is the advice that I will give you after I get done coughing. Okay, two things I will say to you. If you have never been on a cruise and you are planning one or you want to go on one, do it. It was super fun. I loved the convenience of everything. I loved that, all the food options and everything was right there, and it was really neat. But there were also a few things, excuse me, that I was unaware of that I'm very thankful I had my mom for. So, my first piece of advice: either take somebody with you who's been on a cruise who knows some of the basics, or ask somebody who's been on a cruise before you go there and get overwhelmed. If you are anything like me and you get super overwhelmed by life, um, I would have not known what to do in some of these situations. Number one, I did not know that when you get down to the port, the pier, whatever you call it, before you go inside and give them your ID and do any of like the security checks, they take your luggage away from you, because it's kind of like when you go to the airport, you drop your bags off, they take them for you. They're like the people at the airport. I did not know this. My mom told me this. Otherwise, if Eric and I blindly walked up and some random stranger was like, "Hey, let me take your suitcase," I probably would have been like, "No, that's okay," because I did not know how it worked. Um, this is a thing to me that now makes sense, because if thousands of people are getting onto a ship at the same time with all of their bags, what are we all going to do with all of them? That's a lot of bags. So they kind of do that. They kind of have their own luggage handlers like they do at the airport. And instead of taking it at a counter, putting it on that little drivable thing and putting it under the plane for you, they take it to your room. So that was a little bit of a weird thing because I did not know that. My mom said, when we get down there, they're going to take your bags. And I was like, why? Why are they taking them away? Because that's how it works. That's why you have to have specific tags on with your room number. So, speaking of room numbers, they don't give you your room key, they put it outside of your room. I found this to be a very strange thing, but again, it makes sense now. If they have to give room keys to thousands of people, how are they going to do that efficiently when we all get on at basically the same time? Well, they take your luggage, put your luggage in front of the door, and they take your keys and they stick your key in the little sign outside of your door. So my New York mentality is like, won't people steal that? But in reality, nobody cares. Like it's no one cares about this at all. And if you've gone on a cruise, you're probably thinking, yeah, that's normal. But I did not know that, so I wanted to tell anybody that hasn't that that's what happens. Um, so we went to our room after we went to the muster station, which I kept calling the mustard station. It is not. It is not a condiment, where they basically have to make you agree that you understand if the ship goes down, you're on your own. Get a life vest and jump. Didn't really love that part, but You have to do it. It's kind of like the whole thing with when you're on a plane again, where they're like, "Hey, are you good to, get off the plane by yourself and put on your own oxygen mask?" And you're like, "I guess so." So they kind of go through all that. They start you out at like worst case scenario. So it's a little disconcerting. And then we went to our room and there's our room keys just waiting for us. Very weird. Um, the next piece of advice that I will give all of you, I actually have a few. I said I had two, I have more. Spring for the balcony. Don't be cheap. I was cheap. And I'm not mad at our room. We still had a view, we had a window, we had a very dirty window. But spring for the balcony because when you're on a cruise like this and you get to go to a glacier, you have to go to your friend's room and sit on her balcony because you don't have your own. I was being kind of cheap and I was like, I'm not paying for the balcony. Who needs a balcony? What are we going to do? We're not going to sit outside. It's going to be cold out. I wish we had the balcony. So that was on me. That was a lesson I learned. If I go on another cruise, I'm springing for the balcony. Period. I don't care. It just makes more sense. So I didn't, but that's okay. My mom said she didn't care. And for the most part, I didn't either. But see, Shelly knows. Absolutely get the balcony. It's worth every penny. 100%. If you are a cheapskate like I am, don't be in this situation. Just don't. Just get the balcony. So the only other problem, and this is a problem that I caused for myself. I'm gonna take another drink. I caused this issue for myself because I didn't do any pre-ship testing, we'll call it. I do not have motion sickness. I just want to preface that. I have never gotten sick on a plane, in a car. I don't have any issues like that. Um, yes, Linda, So Magical pays for my room, but any upgrades and any extra person that comes with me is on me. So I was able to pick my room, and I did not pick a balcony. Um, totally on me. And I'm just also referencing the fact that balconies are more expensive. So when you look at it, you're like, well, do I need to spend more money? And you're like, nah, yeah, pay for the balcony. So I have never had motion sickness. I can sit in the limousine backwards. I can, like I can ride rides. I'm not that person that ever has dealt with that. But I have vertigo. I have really bad vertigo, and it comes and goes when it wants to. I have had vertigo for over 10 years. Some days are worse than others. Certain medications don't do well with me. I cannot wear those patches that people wear on the ship, the scopolamine. I can't wear those. So, because of having vertigo and because I was teaching and I didn't want to feel crummy, I was like, I'm just going to do the smart thing and get myself some Dramamine just to be safe because why not have it so that you don't have to worry about it? Even though it's not a huge concern for me, I don't know how I'm going to react being on a cruise ship. So I got Dramamine. In the meantime, a friend of mine, several friends of mine said, no, 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 don't take Dramamine because it will make you drowsy. Take Bonine, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it is basically hi Lauren, beautiful girl. Basically, it is a not supposed to be a non-drowsy form of Dramamine. Um, not for me. I had an adverse reaction to it, and because I had never taken it before, I did not know how my body was going to react to it. So I took it the night that the night before we got on the cruise ship, and then took it the day after to try to get it in my system. And when I woke up Monday morning to get ready to get on the cruise, my mother looked at me and said, "Are you okay? Did you sleep at all last night? You look exhausted." I had a hard time keeping my eyes open that morning. I slept the whole night. I woke up and I felt like I had been roofied. Honestly, I felt like I had been drugged. And then I took another one thinking I'm just tired because of the time difference. This is supposed to be a non-drowsy, like, nauseous medication. It should be fine. I took another one, and by the time we got on the ship, I could not form complete sentences. I felt like I was drunk. I felt so insanely off, and I had not tried it when I was at home. So, whether you have motion sickness or not, if you're going to go on a cruise and you're going to take a medication, don't take it when you get on the cruise. Take it at home and see how it reacts to you. I tend to be one of two extremes when it comes to medication. Either nothing happens, like I'm the person that wakes up out of anesthesia and is like, "Hey, can we go home?" Um, that's me. Or I have every single bad reaction that you can have, and I have complete issues with it. That's why I can't take those scopolamine patches because they give me really bad headaches and they dilate my eyes to the point that I can't see, can't read, can't walk, nothing, but I'm not dizzy. So that's my tip for you. Don't take new medication when you don't know how you're going to react to it. After those 2 doses, I stopped taking it and I had zero issues at all. Um, the the boat. I'm just gonna call it a boat because you guys can't yell at me. They yelled at me on the ship. It was chaotic on Tuesday, and Tuesday was my day to teach. The water was so rough. And some of you said when I posted that picture that it was making you ill. We were on the 13th deck and the boat was doing this the entire time. It was a challenge. I did not feel sick whatsoever. A couple people in class were not feeling so well, so we kind of took our time with class. However, it became an Olympic event trying to move from one table to the next to answer questions because I would literally be flying across the floor into the table at like it was comical. We had to just laugh because there was nothing else you could do about it. Um, like I said, a couple people were not feeling so great. The ship as a whole was a lot. And the higher up you go, the worse it is. So my first experience teaching on a cruise was interesting. Would I do it again? Absolutely. At 100%. I would totally do it again. I would not drug myself first, but it was a challenge. It was an interesting challenge. Again, if you have any kind of motion sickness, that would have put you over the edge. Me, I was fine. Apparently, it's better when my head rattles than for me to try to maintain some kind of balance. So it worked out really well. Um, the views were spectacular. It was great being in the classroom so high up because, as Kayla was saying on the last cruise, and I don't know if this was true for the cruise before that. If Lauren's still here, she could answer that. The last cruise in December, they were on the second floor. So that's going to keep the rocking to a minimum. However, there were no views, there were no windows. We had unbelievable views we were at the back of the ship. It was so cool just to like watch like all the water and just like look at it and just kind of take it all in. It was really really neat. We were there in the morning, in the afternoon, and then we came back after dinner. And Alaska right now is not getting a full sunset, so it never got totally dark. So even when we were up there at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, it was still light out, which was very confusing, but pretty cool. Um, I really enjoyed it. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad that I went. My mom had an amazing time. So Alaska was pretty. How do I explain this? Alaska was, and my mom said this is Nicole commenting on Lauren's profile. The first cruise we were on the second floor, and it wasn't terrible, but it definitely rocked around. Thank you, Nicole, and hi, I love you guys. Nico's teaching at Lauren's shop this weekend, and I'm so sad that I'm not there. Um, I had a train of thought, and it's gone. Oh, Alaska. My mom said this several times, and I'm sure a lot of other people felt this way as well. My mom was envisioning a version of Alaska that you see on like wilderness shows. She thought we were going to be like out in the woods with the bears and the moose and all that kind of stuff. My mother desperately wanted to see wild animals, as did I from a safe distance. We unfortunately did not. She did see a few whales from the window. I did not see anything. Some of the other people on the cruise also saw some wildlife. We didn't really see anything. But the places that we stopped, were stopping in ports. We're stopping in cities. So Sitka and then Skagway and Juneau, it's not wilderness. It's definitely a different way of living, especially when you live um, in a city or near a city. It's very it's very weird to kind of just like this is your big populated area, but there's really not that many people there. But there were plenty of things to see and shop and do. It was a really, really cool place. I think Juneau was my favorite. Juneau is just this cute little artsy, villagey kind of a town. You cannot get to Juneau on a road. They don't have stoplights in town because nobody's driving in there. You have to take a boat or a plane to get to Juneau. And then basically, when we all got back on the ships, because there were a few that had come in at the same time, basically, once we got on, they all closed their doors and were home for the day. No joke. Like they were done. They were like, Good night, Juneau, and they left. We were talking to oh my goodness. I just totally spaced on her name. From Willow and Luna. Oh my gosh. Erin. Erin from Willow and Luna. She lives in Juneau and we got to visit her shop. She makes amazing leather bags. She has a bunch of industrial machines. She's got her leather all set up and it smelled so good in there. But we were talking to her about stuff because she's from San Francisco originally and her husband is I think he's a Coast Guard. I think that's why they're in Juneau right now. She's like, it's great, but you do kind of miss the all of the things that we get that we kind of take for granted. Like they don't have food delivery. You have like they don't even have enough places to deliver. Amazon packages take 2 weeks. Like there's all those conveniences that we take for granted. And we're all kind of laughing, thinking it takes you 2 weeks to get an Amazon package. And meanwhile, an order doesn't get shipped out in 2 days, and people are like, but I have a bag to finish, hurry up. Imagine if that bag was not even going to be close to finish for 2 weeks. You kind of forget about all those conveniences until you don't have them. So, could I live in Juneau? Probably not. Could I visit there and hang out there on vacation? Absolutely. Juneau was definitely my favorite. Skagway was a close second. It's a very old timey feel. It feels like it hasn't been updated in decades because I don't think it has been. But it's like a really I don't know, it's a really neat place to visit. One thing I did notice in all of the ports in Alaska, there are dogs like everywhere. Dogs are just kind of free reign. Like I think they have homes, but they just kind of wander around and do whatever they want. It's pretty interesting. And as a dog person, I was like, oh my God, there's dogs everywhere. So we were kind of enjoying that. Um, Again, no wild animals, but that's okay. The glacier was pretty cool. Sitka, I didn't love as much, and I think I figured out my reason for not loving Sitka. I don't think it's the town itself. I think it's because we were all kind of herded like cattles into these like things where you have to like you're standing in a line and another line and another line to get on a shuttle bus because you can't just like walk from the ship into Sitka. You have to take a shuttle. And I think because we were all doing it at the same time, and then there was another cruise line doing it, it just felt overwhelmed and touristy, like too much so. I think it would be a very cool place to visit, not on a cruise, on like your own terms. I didn't dislike Sitka. I just did not like it as much as I like the other places because again, when the ship pulled in, we could get off whenever we wanted and get back on whenever we wanted. It wasn't like a big to do with shuttles and stuff. So that is my Alaskan adventure in a nutshell. I had a great time. The weather was beautiful, and I think it was Mary Ellen that had commented. Somebody did about us having jackets on and like perfect weather. Honestly, it was my ideal weather. It was in like the my watch would say it was in the 40s and 50s, but it was so sunny and nice out that at one point I was walking around in a t-shirt, which here in the 50s you don't walk around in a t-shirt. Like it's not happening. And in the 40s, but the sun was so like bright and it was just warm and cozy. It was very comfortable. Glad I brought a jacket. Didn't really need it. And a backpack. Bring a backpack because if you're going to be getting on and off the ship and bringing all of your excuse me, goodies, get a backpack. It definitely helped my mom and I both out. We both carried ours for most of our walking around. So, I think that's it. I rambled a lot. Sorry. If there's any questions that you have, let me know. And if I miss them, Chili will text them to me because I can't keep up with all of the messages. So, um, okay. So while you think if there's anything else that you want to know from me, last but not least, before we call it a day, is today is our June virtual retreat. So it is today through Sunday. Rochelle, this is your first one, and I know you had asked about the retreat. So just in case anybody else is here for the first time or you're thinking about signing up for one, kind of just in a nutshell, what is the virtual retreat? What do we do? All that good stuff. So we still have a few more before the year is up. I don't remember exactly how many we have left. Maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6. I have no idea. I don't have my calendar in front of me. So the virtual retreat, basically how it works is you sign up, you get a goodie bag. The goodie bag is just a thank you. So it's not for any particular project. It's not for anything, that you have to work on. Like I mentioned on this one, I sent them a piece of cork from the new collection. Sometimes I send zippers, sometimes it's hardware. In the past, they've gotten new patterns when they've come out. It just all depends on how far ahead I've planned and what I'm in the mood to put together. Sometimes it's, I think January we got plastic organizer boxes, just whatever. You get your goodie bag. It's a little thank you. You get all your login information. It's all through Zoom. So the best part is you don't have to leave your house. You can just sit at home or wherever you sew. I will be sewing here for the first time. And you get to just kind of hang out and meet everybody. It is not a formal class. We do not do a project together. One time in all of the history of the virtual retreats, we worked on a project together because it was requested, and still not even everybody did it. Everybody wanted to make something, and so we just kind of worked on it one day together, but we typically do not do that. You can work on anything you want. You can sew, you can knit, you can sit and listen to us. It's whatever you want done. Some people, like Kim, get a lot done. Some people, like myself, do not because we're hosting and talking and doing all that stuff. Some retreats I've gotten more stuff done than others. My number one tip for you is to come in with an open mind because it is a different format than something you're used to. It's not the same as when you're sitting at an in-person retreat because you're not sitting next to everybody and you're not hearing all of the background noises. Zoom is actually a little bit quieter than you think it's going to be. We hear the machines, we hear the conversations, we have conversations, we all kind of join in and talk about anything and everything. Literally, questions about Alaska will be asked today. We'll talk about bag patterns. We'll talk about our favorite recipes. Like it will go from one topic to the next. We talk about husbands, dogs, kids. Like there's so many things. Just kind of come in with an open mind, knowing that you are going to have to be a little bit vocal if you want to, join in the conversation, but you're welcome to sit back and listen. The group, and I would not say this if I didn't wholeheartedly mean it, is one of the most welcoming groups I have ever known in my life. We have a core group of people that have been to everyone or close to everyone in the 3 years I've been doing this. This is my third anniversary of doing Zoom. We've been doing it since June 2021. The first one was my birthday weekend, so over 3 years ago. We just have gotten to know each other like very well. When someone's missing from the group, somebody notices and asks, like, oh, where is so and so? Are they coming? Have you heard from them? People have formed outside friendships. They're texting each other, they're talking. It's such an amazing group. Please don't feel odd if you're an outsider, because you're not an outsider. You just haven't gotten to know everybody as well. Teresa, right here, I'm glad you chimed in. She will vouch for how nice everyone is. Teresa, how many have you been to now? 3, 4? Teresa came in brand new. And, if you're anything like myself, you get kind of awkward in like new people situations. We try not to, we don't want that to happen. The one thing I don't want to happen is for you to come in, listen to all of us, get overwhelmed and just leave and never come back. Tell me tell me what you need, express to me, chime in and just be like, hey, I'm new to the group. I don't know anybody. I'm Jess. It's nice to meet you guys. I'm from upstate New York. And just talk to us. Um, Teresa, I have social anxiety. I'm always worried people will judge me, and they were really wonderful. And that is why Teresa and I understand each other, because same girl, same. I have said this many times. I will say it again. The first time that I met Lauren and Nicole and Alexis and all of the bag maker group, um, I had one of two choices to make: sit and force myself into a conversation and try to make friends, or do my normal thing and sit in a corner and not speak to anybody and then pretend that nobody likes me. I chose not to do that because that's the easier thing. And I said, hey, I'm here. Let's be friends. And now I have wonderful friendships because of it. The virtual retreat is the same thing. Don't come and sit in the corner and not talk to anybody. Chime in, say something, say anything. Trust me, you can't out weird us. It's not going to happen. We have had some of the most outrageous conversations you can ever imagine anybody having, and it's led to wonderful friendships. And it's the reason why, even though COVID's over and we can still leave our houses, we still do this. We still would rather do this. Talk about your favorite seam allowance. Lauren, Nicole, whichever one of you is talking about that. I think it's a great icebreaker. And see, then you make friends and they harass you while you're on YouTube live, and it's a wonderful thing. But it's a good group, and I promise you, if you just give it a chance, it will be fun. And the worst case scenario, you get a free goodie bag, you got some projects done, and you found out how weird we all are. It was bound to happen anyway. I love you too. so Janelle, if you can't join now, hopefully in the fall, we do have some fall ones. The fall ones tend to be the busier ones because I think everybody's home, summer's over, vacations are kind of done, and everybody's ready to get, like Christmas stuff and all that kind of things done. Yes, Kim. It's a great place for bouncing ideas and picking fabrics. We do that all the time. Like, hey, I'm making this. Do you like this one or this one? You want an opinion, you will get more than one opinion. That's not an issue. Um, yeah, it's one of my favorite things, and I'm super excited because I actually get to sew in my studio with access to everything. I don't have to drag stuff home and then hope that I have the right things. And Rochelle, you are welcome to be as quiet as you want, and then talk as much as you want. We want to get to know you. We want to hear all about you. Don't be afraid to chime in. One thing that I will tell you is that if you are having an outside conversation with your spouse or family member and it's not something we need to hear and you forget that you're on Zoom, I will mute you for your own sake. Don't be offended by it. Don't be all like, why did she mute me? If you're talking to your husband about stuff and I don't want to, we don't want to hear maybe about sexy time or whatever you're talking about, I'll just mute you. And then you just unmute yourself. I've had people sit with their videos off because they would just rather, and it's fine. We just love to see your faces and hear your voices. And that's really all that I can tell you. He doesn't come in my sewing room. They always do when you're doing a Zoom. I'm just going to tell you right now. Every time we're doing Zoom, a husband shows up and, it's like, oh, hey, let's talk about dinner. And, it's just the way that it is. It's totally fine. Mine will be around. And as long as the AC gets fixed upstairs, which I'm hoping it does, him and the dogs will also be spending the weekend here. And, you know, we're hoping for the best right now because it is currently 81 degrees, which is not that cool out. So I think that's it. If I missed any of your comments or questions, I apologize. I'm going to try to get my computer situated here because it's bugging me. And other than that, oh, I wanted to show you one more thing. This is a little whale that Kayla made me. I got here late. Did you say when your husband's cork will be available to buy? It will be available on Tuesday. Probably Tuesday around 10 a.m., I would say. It will be on the website. And we will be doing a live. I'm aiming for 2 o'clock on Tuesday with Eric so we can talk about cork. So 95 and humid. I understand. That is why that's why this is the best you're getting out of my hair today. Because it's humid. So that's my little whale. And you haven't gotten the link. It was in your email, but send me an email, Rochelle, just in case it went to your spam, and I will make sure that you get it. I did send an email out, but it was before I went to Alaska. So it was before the 10th. So I think it was like the 8th or so. Um, so if you don't have it in your spam folder, just send me an email and I will make sure to get you the link. Everybody else saves the link because I don't ever change it. But this is your first. June 6th. Thank you, Cheryl. Rochelle, and anybody else that didn't get it, check from June 6th. And if it's not there, just send me an email and I will make sure to get it to you. Okay, I think that's it. Have a wonderful weekend if we're not going to see you. Lauren and Nicole, I love you and I miss you. Have an awesome weekend. I'm really jealous that I'm not there. And I will see both of your faces soon, just not soon enough. And other than that, I guess I'm done. I'll see you guys later.